Our government understands, Madam Speaker, that many Canadians are worried about our country's economy and that we are facing a global slowdown due to global challenges of high inflation and higher interest rates. However, it is important to remember that inflation is in fact a global phenomenon. Indeed, it is a lingering result of the COVID pandemic, Putin's illegal war in Ukraine, and the snarled supply chains that are affecting so many people and businesses right around the world. The good news, though, Madam Speaker, is that there is no country better placed than Canada to weather the coming global economic slowdown and thrive in the years ahead. Canada's inflation rate is less severe at 6.9% than that of our peers, like the United States at 7.7, the United Kingdom at 11.1, and Germany at 10.4, and we'll rely on Stats Canada to do those calculations. Also, our country has a AAA credit rating and has the strongest economic growth in the G7 so far this year. That's alongside the lowest deficit and net debt to GDP ratios in the G7. In fact, we've strengthened that advantage over the course of the pandemic, Madam Speaker. Our unemployment rate is also near its record low, and 500,000 more Canadians are working today than before the pandemic. We do appreciate, though, that this is a difficult time for families, friends, and of course our neighbors. That is why we are now moving forward with targeted measures, including new ones introduced in the Fall Economic Statement. For example, Bill C-32 would make the federal portion of all Canada student loans and Canada apprentice loans permanently become interest-free, including those that are currently being repaid. We are also continuing to implement our government's affordability plan, which includes targeted measures worth $12.1 billion. For example, Madam Speaker, with Bill C-31 having recently received royal assent, we are moving forward with the creation of the Canada Dental Benefit for children under 12 in families with annual incomes less than $90,000 who do not have access to a private dental plan. Also, individuals and families receiving the GST credit started receiving an additional $2.5 billion in support earlier this month, and I thank my friend opposite for supporting that measure. These are targeted measures that helps make life more affordable for Canadians who need it the most, while being careful not to add fuel to the inflationary fire. Now, when it comes to pollution pricing, we know that a national price on pollution is the most effective and least costly way of reducing greenhouse gas emissions while putting more money back into the pockets of most Canadians. Climate action is no longer a theoretical political debate, it is an economic necessity. Earlier this month, the Parliamentary Budget Officer published an analysis showing that climate change has and will continue to negatively impact the Canadian economy. Conservatives regularly conflate the increased cost in global commodity prices with the price on pollution, but this is a fundamental error in practice. In BC, for example, the carbon price has increased by only 2 cents per litre over the last 3 years, while the price of gas has increased by over $1. That means Conservatives are regularly ignoring 98% of the real problem. They also ignore the fact that the federal carbon price is revenue neutral and that it actually makes life more affordable for 8 out of 10 Canadian families through the Climate Action Rebate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Member for Calgary Centre.